What's going on, gentlemen? So I've been working hard to try and finish up this box just so I can get done with this and get on to my other projects. But I know some of you guys have been enjoying, watching some of the mods I've been doing. So I'm just going to give you a rundown of this. I don't really plan to do a whole ton more on this particular box. I'll show you guys as any updates happen, but let me just give you, I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough, hopefully a quick walkthrough of the box, some of the decisions I made. I'll go through all the drawers, everything that I set up, and just so that you know, this is from the perspective of a DIYer. I'm not a mechanic. I did have some, some experience in the military doing like aircraft avionics and stuff like that. And I have a passion for working on, Volkswagens. I also enjoy, Toyota, Lexus, Subaru. So this kind of flavors how I set up my box. But yeah, take a look here. This is the newest edition. Instead of, well, what I did, just because I'm testing these things out, I 3D printed these wrench kind of holders, stuck them to the back of the box. I purchased these Wen wrenches. These are made in Taiwan. A lot of parallels to Tekton reversible ratcheting wrenches. And this is, I want to say, a 16-piece set. I think it's like 7 to 22. And it was about $108. So I thought that was really good value for what you're getting. And I wanted those wrenches out of the drawers. I wanted them accessible. So I like this. So I've got my little Tekton USA right angle blunt nose pick right there. I use that all the time for coolant lines. You see I've got a magnet mat holding my, like intake clamp, hose clamp. Pliers, these are CTA, made in USA. Got a little Tekton wrench. I've got a couple of the just little flat, skinny wrenches to counter hold. These are some common sizes on the cars I work on that I just have right there. 17 mil crow's foot. Icon reversible ratcheting wrenches, mirror. This corner here I found was a good place to put these little kind of pistol grip icons, which I think for like little clamps on like coolant lines and things, I think these could be pretty good for that, or tough to reach spaces. Tekton USA Torx drivers. All these are Tekton, made in USA. Got Tekton pry bar and flat screwdriver pry bar, also made in USA. Again, I've got, for my socket sets, I used a hybrid, combination of magnetic socket trays and foam cutouts that I did myself. And you can watch my other video for a more in-depth look at the top of this box and how I, some of the little tricks that I used to set that up. So I'm not going to go over that again, but now moving down to my first drawers. Again, this is a 4-drawer US General toolbox. In order to maximize space here, what I did is here and here and here, I double stacked. So, and I tried to put the one I thought I'd use the most on top. I've been really liking these cannon plug style pliers with the little soft kind of grips up there. I think they're good for, I almost prefer them to the other style water pump pliers. I've got the Icon, cutters, and then the flush cut cutters underneath. I'm probably going to use these more than the flush cuts for zip ties and stuff. I don't use zip ties a ton. I got the Icon long nose, you know, that everybody's going to be able to, everybody's after, that's always sold out. Then I've got some more, you know, Icon needle nose in there. Got my little just trim tool. Got my, I ended up selecting 2 of the Tecton. This is the sharp 90-degree pick, and then just the straight. So those are the 2 that made the cut for my box. And then I just have those double stacked like that. Tecton USA, pliers. And what's nice about these is these stand up in these shallow drawers with, and you know, they just barely clear it. Whereas the Icons, they don't. And then I've got like a little 3-pack of Knipex. So, and what I'll tell you as far, like what I like the most, my, like ranking the Knipex, these, again, these share some similarities to these for, you know, getting off those little, like little annoying clamps. So anyways, I like these. These would probably be the, if you're only going to get one thing from theirs, I'd probably get these, followed by, I do like these. These are little baby ones, but I like them, and I've used them quite a bit. And then I have the larger Icon knockoff flavor there. And then these are the ones I have used the least so far, have found the least need for them. Sure, uses will come up though. And then I've got, you know, just a Milwaukee little fastback, little pack of blades. Moving over to the other drawer, I've got the same kind of setup, but the bigger pick tool. So and it was the same 2 that made the cut. It was the 90 and the straight. And then I got these little Icon kind of hose pliers and these Doyle pliers. Tire pressure gauge, you know, temperature sensor. This is my X-Tool A30M, so very good, like pretty much for all cars. Works for all cars and shows you all kinds of diagnostic information. One of my favorite little code readers. These are my Lisle carbide scraper tools. Just a little trim removal tool. And then I've got thickness gauges. And then this is like a little spark plug gap adjustment tool. And then some of the little spark plug tools. So that's, and I find myself using this drawer the most. So I tried to put everything that I use the most up top, followed by here, and then maybe here. And then this is kind of like a oddball drawer. So I've got here a bunch of the little like clamps for coolant lines, and then like little like plugs and rubber bungs and stuff like that. Those are really helpful, I found, for, you know, to use in concert with these. Some things didn't make the cut in my box. I actually moved my Icon crow's feet out, and I substituted them for these flare nut, just the cheap Pittsburgh set, because I think they work better than just the straight crow's feet with the extra little grabbage you get on the ends here. Other than my, so I have those cheap ones, and then I have the one nice Tecton USA over there in the 17 mil for my high pressure fuel lines. Have a little flare nut wrench set, just Pittsburgh. Here, I didn't think it was worth it to individually, you know, organize all my little tiny Craftsman, little tiny wrenches. And then the same thing with a set of like the flat ones for counter holding. Again, I put the most common ones that I use just right up here on the magnets. And then if I need one, I'll just grab a handful and find the one I need. Got the oil, you know, filter wrench, something for brakes, and then there's some more, you know, a couple torque sets, and then just like a whole comprehensive bit set of everything that I took out of a Hercules case and dropped in here. And then I have just a, you know, Metabo screwdriver, you know, just for low torque applications. And then come down to this drawer, and this is when you need to be serious about taking something out, taking something off. So kind of, you know, I got the Milwaukee, you know, little impact, and then this guy, which is, I'd say probably like the 85 percenter is this guy for actual, like, anytime I'm using an impact socket, it's going to be this the vast majority of the time. But in those rare occasions where you need something just ridiculous, this DeWalt DCF 900. So I didn't think the box could be complete without that. And then I have the like Pittsburgh and another brand, just that I picked up a long time ago, 1/2-inch drive breaker bars. And then I've got my 3/8 inch drive breaker bars here. I've got the 1/2-inch to 3/8 reducer for this. Let's see. And then I have 3 extensions, just a Pittsburgh set. And these are Pittsburgh impact. And what I did is, so these are actually placeholders. I have the Milwaukee nylon in 17, 19, and 21. These are just placeholders for those to keep, you know, your wheels nice. And then over here, I have basically like 22, 24, 27s. Let's see, what is this? A 30, 32. Basically, I figured out all the biggest sizes that I would ever need for the cars that I have. And I loaded them up, and then I've got 3 sockets that are coming in the mail that weren't in this kit, in addition to those Milwaukee. And then let's see, and then just the little you know, attachments for this guy. So that all lives in that drawer. And then come down here, and I do have my gear wrench. My gear wrench wrenches. These are non-reversible, so you got to be careful with those. If you watched my video the other day, I got this little 3D printed attachment so I could hang my Milwaukee 3/8 inch you know, ratchet, and this thing is really cool. Freed up a lot of space. I got some hangers for brakes. On this side, I've just got some, you know, some flatheads. I've got these little kind of long, kind of clamping scissor things. Coming over to the other side, this is probably going to change because I don't really have a need for these. These are just little like nut drivers, cobalt nut drivers, but I'm going to swap those out. That's one of the few things that will change on this box. And then down on the very bottom, I've got the essentials. You got to have some of these black gloves. These last way longer than those cheap green ones. And then I've got my torque wrenches across all the different range of sizes. So I've got Icon split beam, and then I've got Tectons, and then I've got like an Amazon Basics and a Quinn little 1/4 inch driver one. And then a little mallet and some bungees, which sometimes I would use those to help with brakes or holding other things. And then again, have the handle removed, instead have the paper towels. And then got magnet bars here, here, and here for, you know, it's like a permanent T30 that lives there, or whatever I'm using at the time, where I can use that instead of like parts trays or to complement them. So anyways, that's the tour. I'm done for now. I need to get back to work. Actually putting the car back together. If you guys are curious how I actually did the cutouts with the foam, these are the tools that I use. So I use these little cutters. I used Kaizen foam, and I supplemented it with, you know, this more expensive foam. And then I also used adhesive spray to get the layers to adhere. And then I also used this, you know, this just like Toolbox, I don't know, matting stuff, both in the black and the red. So that's how I did it. But hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one. I don't plan to keep doing the same type of content. The intent of this channel is more just to, I don't know, show you guys the stuff I'm actually working on. So have a good evening, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.